as you can see how gunked up this is. When I say gunked up, it's not really so gunked
It
up.
kind of is because it's been, again,
But
more
you can
license.
see where it's been
Oh,
on there.
yeah.
You see all the black coming off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through. And it will, whatever's in front of it gets messy. Now, and I'm going to get good coating in there. See how it's wet?
Right.
I'm just going to let that set for a few minutes. It's not going to hurt a thing. What I'm trying to do is make sure I get as much residue off the parts as I can. Lubricating your spring is something a lot of people don't do. I happen to prefer to do it. And it will get your hands all messy, but that's all right. One of the most overlooked ones is this. This is what holds everything together. This is where you get a lot of buildup on it.
Oh.
And when I say buildup, I'm not talking gunk buildup. I'm talking more just powder residue from shooting it. And you can see how this kind of turned this dull looking.
Right.
That's because it's taken the oil and stuff out there. See that? Looks pretty good. That's partly Cosmoline from this gun being brand new and never being cleaned before you fired it.
Oh, you're supposed to.
Especially if they come overseas, because they pack them in Cosmoline to keep them from rusting. And like I said, cleaning the guns is, the barrel's critical. Some of this other stuff you could do without doing. I just do it because if I'm going to take a gun apart, might as well take care of it and clean it while you're there. What you have to be careful of is that you don't move any of this stuff down in here. Because if any of that falls out, then you got a major issue putting it back together. Now, that barrel's nice and wet. They make a little, I call it a pistol. That's what it looks like to me, is a pistol cartridge. That's a cleaning kit that you can keep in your gun case.
Oh, yeah, it's nice.
Now then, we brushed all that, but you can see all the black stuff coming out. And if you look down in there now, it's nice and clean.
Let me see that little doodad. Okay.
Yeah, it's a patch holder is all it is. They make different kinds. I happen to prefer this one because I can put one or two patches in there and run it through there if I want to, rather than just doing one. You can barely see the rifling in this one. That's kind of unusual. If you look real carefully, you can see how it's spiraled.
Right.
Just barely. I mean, it's not much. That's called rifling, is what that's called. You must have put it in here. My stepson must have been helping me clean up. I was cleaning guns the other day. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this ramp. Now, see it got all the residue off there?
Right.
It's just, and you can do the same thing with brushing the whole gun if you want to, but I mainly worry about the mechanics of it.
It was dirty.
It was, they get dirty. And that's why a lot of people don't like cleaning their guns. Even my guns, about once a year I take them to a gunsmith and have him disassemble them and clean them in an ultrasonic.
Right.
It gets more stuff off than what I can get off even. Okay, that's lubricated back. That's been lubricated. This is what we have not addressed. So you can see all the Cosmoline's gone now. Remember how it was kind of brownish gray looking? It was all Cosmoline. And this one fortunately is almost like a 45 for cleaning purposes, and it goes back together really easy. This is M-Pro 7. This is the oil that DPS recommended to me about 7 years ago. and it doesn't take much. Literally one drop and let it run both directions. A little bit on your moving parts. Do this side. And again, there'll be some excess on there when we put the gun back together, and we'll take care of all that. But what you mainly want to do is just make sure you get moving parts lubricated, because anywhere it's friction. Okay, now we're ready to put this thing back together. Okay,
Okay.
I'm going to start with the barrel away from me. So that's the muzzle end. I didn't wipe that off, and I should have. Barrel goes in. Metal goes in first. Said it does. Maybe it. There we go. My bad. Metal does not go in first. Metal goes in backwards. Because see the point on it and the indentation?
Yeah.
That's where that all goes together at. Now then, to put this back together, it goes just like it came apart in reverse. A lot of people overlook putting oil right here on this barrel. They don't think it rubs on anything, but it does. It rubs right down in here. I'm going to take, this is a spring that's a moving part. Your magazine releases in a good shape. And like I say, we'll get all the excess off of this, but the main thing is putting it back together. Just slides into each other. Now then, got to line up the two dots. This goes through from this side. And this is a little tricky sometimes, especially when your hands have oil on them. See, it's just barely forward there. Always check to make sure your gun works when you put it back together. And there it is. This is nothing more than a silicone impregnated rag. Main thing I use it for is just getting all the oil off the gun, wiping off fingerprints.
And clean and shiny.
Clean and shiny, just like it should be. And you will get, the more you operate it, it will get more residue, oil residue coming out on it.
Right.
Everything will work smooth. Safety works. Decocker. Make sure it locks back open. Yeah, you was asking how he opened it and made it stay back without the magazine in it. You pull it all the way back, and then you have to push up on that lever.
Okay.
Okay. And this seems like so little oil for a gun, but all I want to do is coat the outside of it so that it's protected. And it doesn't take but just a few drops. And you'll notice there'll be things like that, a little fuzz that comes off with the patches. It's not too bad on the outside of the gun, but you don't want to get them down inside there. Unfortunately, patches are the best thing they have for cleaning guns. Wow, that's a strong hammer. And all I'm doing is just making sure that everything else is in good working order. Like I say, I'll give you that silicone cloth That way you'll have one. Cause I've got more at the house that I keep on hand. There you go.
Sweet.
Magazine.